What's up, guys? History video time, number 2. Alright? Now we're gonna do a guy. A guy you all know. Nixon, nickname, Tricky Dick. Yep, Tricky Dick was his nickname afterwards. So, let's get to the point, alright? So, after Mr. Lyndon B. Johnson, there came Mr. Nixon, alright? He was elected in 1968 and, served his term from 1968 to 1976, 72, that time. 2 terms, alright? So, now, he isn't really known for good, alright? He is the only president in the history of the United States to resign, alright? He quit his job. Now, of course, like Lyndon B. Johnson, he was remembered for the Vietnam War, which was not good, alright? Because being remembered for a war is never good, alright? Except for you help him win the war. Well, he didn't exactly help him win. So, now let's go back to his domestic policies, because he actually did pretty good domestic policies, alright? Domestic basically means like, domestic things, things at home, alright? He worried for things at home more than, foreign policy. So, he actually passed, That's what's called New Federalism. He's like, okay, the federal government has too much power. World War, the Great Depression, World War II, Korea. We have too much power on everything. So he decided to give some of that power back to the states. Right, here you go. Here's what you gotta do. Just do what the hell you want. Just don't break the law. All right. And number 2, he also passed what's called revenue sharing. Now he basically maybe we shouldn't tell the states to just what to spend their money on. So they give them freedom over their money as long as they spend it on anything good. I mean, I'll still fund your highways, but I want some of that revenue. So basically, like, you fund something and you get some of that money. It's like Shark Tank. Basically, it was Shark Tank before Shark Tank existed. All right. Now, of course, he obviously is still a paranoid person. He's very paranoid, actually. He's known for being paranoid. So, in Pentagon, there were papers about the Vietnam War, and they weren't good, all right? So Nixon's like, okay, who the hell is leaking these papers, huh? They're like, but Mr. President, these aren't affecting you. But he's paranoid, so he's like, okay, we need to find out who the hell leaked these papers out of the Pentagon, all right? Maybe it's the Democrats. I'm a Republican, and they're trying to ruin my thing or something. So, of course, that's his paranoia. So what he wants to do is, he wants to break into the Democratic Party's headquarters, tap wire them, add cameras, listen to everything they say, blah, 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 which is very illegal, all right? He's the president, doesn't mean he's excluded from the law. So, yeah, tap wiring, that's a breach of privacy, by the way. So, yeah. Now, the headquarters, Watergate complex. Nowadays, you go there, hotel with multiple buildings. Now, is there water? There's probably water. There's a gate? I think so. But either way, even if it doesn't, it's still called the Watergate complex. I have no idea why it's called that. So, they sent some people in at night, and, they came in, and they started, trying putting stuff in, but a security guard noticed them, and, they got caught. And after they were found out to be aligned with, Nixon, all right, he really just, denied everything, but, really, he didn't really do much about it, all right? He just kind of like, okay, so I did, so what? In either way, he was doing this maybe he wanted to get reelected, but either way, he was going to get reelected anyways, yep. So, in the end, he committed a huge crime just to get reelected. It's kind of like pushing someone off a bridge because they ruined your lottery ticket. But then the lottery tickets still win. So, yeah. However, a lot of controversy surrounding it. People were protesting, calling him stuff, Tricky Dick, So his paranoia eventually got the better of him, and he was scared like he would end up like JFK, bullet through the head. So he resigned, all right. In his second term, only about a year or two into his second term, he resigned from office, all right. And he disappeared. Not much, kind of like disappeared from media mostly. Because, he was still alive afterwards, but he mostly avoided everything because, his paranoia got the better of him. So, in the end, here's a note for all future presidents. Maybe don't be too paranoid and don't plant, tab wiring devices inside of your opposition's headquarters. So, yeah, be a good person. Goodbye, and I'll see you next video.